I'm Candice Parisi, and this is a question and answer format on Mondays and on Wednesdays. I am here on only Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm here doing psychic readings and mediumship. And so, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a great place to get a reading. If there's loved ones that you want to connect to, if there's people in your life that you want to know about, if there is any questions you have, please feel free to ask. I'd love to answer your questions for you. Hi, Lori. Thank you for moderating. Hi, Linda. Hi, Artistic Mom. Hi, Rosalie. How are you? Hello, Erica. How are you doing? Welcome. Hi, Rochelle. Hi, Sue. How's everybody doing today? Happy Wednesday. Hi, Debbie. Yes, welcome. Good. And if this is your first time here, hi, Carmen. My name is Candice, and I'm a psychic and a medium. And this is a great place to get your questions answered. So if there's things coming up in your life, please feel free to ask. Hi, Genie. And thank you so much for being here. I'm hoping your week is good. Outside here in Chicago, it is pouring down rain and hailing, which is super fun. Hi, Diane. Hi, Meredith. Hi, Lynn. Hello. Oh, good, good. And so while you're showing up, I'm going to be using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And this is a great deck if you are looking to develop your intuition. It is a really beautiful deck. I love using it here. Facebook Live, not Facebook Live, YouTube Live. One day I'm going to get this right. YouTube Live. I believe this is our 6th YouTube Live together. So thank you for coming on over and hanging out with me. Hi, Norma. Hello. Hi, Diane. It's sunny in Canada. Great. Yes, well, good. Well, thank you so much for showing up. And if you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to do so. Hi, Nicole. And if there's a share button, there is a share button somewhere here. I can't see it on my end. I don't know why I'm looking around, but there is one. And so if you would like to share this out into different places, that'd be great too. Yes, I see a different button, but now I'm like so afraid to touch any buttons. Oh no, I don't want that. What is that? How do I make that stop? None. What's this one do? Oh, okay. I don't know what that is either. But hey, we're doing it. Good. Hi, Jacqueline. Good. And so while you're showing up and while you're sharing and subscribing and all the things, I will also share. I think something that's super helpful sometimes in our life is oracle cards. And then sometimes what would, is really helpful in our life is affirmation cards and sometimes tarot cards. But cards are really helpful. Hi, David. Hi, Ruby. And so I have one of my favorites. This is an affirmation deck. And sometimes it's easy to just grab a card and see what it says, and it's your message for the day. And when you're running out the door to your job, you can grab yourself your message for the day, and that's what you can concentrate on. And so I'm going to pull a card from Louise Hay's How to Love Yourself cards. And let's see what our message for today is from our affirmation cards. All right. Ta-da! It says, I accept that I cannot learn other people's lessons for them. Okay. They must do the work themselves, and they will do it when they are ready. And then the other side says, I appreciate others for who they are. And so then you just grab your affirmation card and you run out the door to work, and then you can take it with you and leave it on your desk, and then you remember your affirmation for the day. And so if you don't have an affirmation deck and you want to add more spiritual stuff in your life, that's an easy way to do it. And little reminders to yourself that are positive. Yes. Well, good. Well, good. That's my story. And thank you so much for being here and subscribing and hanging out with me. I'm hoping your Wednesday is going great. Again, am going to be using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And I'm going to be picking every 25th person starting in the middle. I'm going to get to as many people as possible. And then at the end, I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And this is our mug tonight. It is smaller, has water in it, boring, but cute. Okay, good. And so I'm going to start in the middle. Please feel free to ask anything you'd like. And thank you again so much for being here. Yes. Okay, so right in the middle is Rosalie Ferguson. Hi, Rosalie Ferguson. Rosalie Ferguson says, I had a huge blood clot in my lungs on the 7th. Let's send lots and lots of love to Rosalie. Lots of hearts, lots of love. It says, luckily it was caught and taken out. And I've been struggling so bad. I was close to dying. Do you see things getting better? Yeah. Good. I'm sending you lots of love. I'm so sorry that happened. I'm going to pull a card for you. She says that she had a huge blood clot in her lungs on the 7th, and she caught it and got it taken out, but she's struggling, and she was close to dying. And do I see things getting better? Okay. Thank you so much for asking your question. I'm going to pull a card for you. Okay. And thank you for everybody sending her lots of love. Okay. All right. By the book. So, by the book. So when it comes to your situation, Rosalie, you do show up as catching it right on time, which I'm sure is causing you your own anxiety and sort of your own PTSD in the way that you feel. You do show up as you went to the right place. You caught it in time. It doesn't show up as happening again. You have the right people paying attention to it. You're going to do the right things around it. And so it's something that does show up as a one-time scary situation, but it does feel like that you are going to recover and feel much, much better. When I'm looking at you, this is kind of the big scare in your life, the big hard moment, but it doesn't show up as long-term struggle. You show up as being able to recover from this and feel a lot better. And so I think you did a great job taking care of yourself, and you got yourself there on time. But you're right, you were close to not being okay. And so I'm really glad that you did. I'm really glad that you're okay, and you have the right doctors, and they're doing the right things for you. And we just need to be diligent and proactive in the future. You have some family stuff around this issue, and so you have to be extra on it. And so you're doing everything right. Yes, and you're going to recover and feel much better. Yes, but now I think that the part that's going to be hard to recover from is the emotional part. And so just be gentle with yourself. The emotional part is going to be the hard part. Yes. Okay. All right, good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. And thank you, everybody, for sending her lots of love. Yes, she says, yes, that is the hardest. Oh, that's rough. Yes. You have a nice longevity life. And so this is just a bump in the road, Rosalie. Okay. All right, I'm going to get to the next person. Please feel free to ask any question you like. And And at the end, I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And thank you for being here. Okay, let's see. Okay, 25. 25 is Artistic Mom. Hi, Artistic Mom. She says, is my dad still living? I've not seen or spoken to him in a decade. Great question. Thank you so much for asking your question. Do you have a family member who you haven't talked to in so long that you're not even sure if they're a person or if they're around anymore? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking that question. Okay. All right. So, chaos and conflict. So, you know, when I'm looking at the dad figure in your life, he does show up as alive. It does feel like it continues to be something where you're not speaking. Feels like it's both your decisions, but on his side, it's because he has a lot going on, you know, when it comes to the chaos and conflict part. And I think that's why you've set some boundaries in the first place and why it hasn't been working in the first place. And so you're making good decisions when it comes to the creating space, but your dad shows up as a person for sure. And if you did want to communicate with him or, you know, have him in your life, you certainly could. It would be the same thing as always with the chaos and conflict part. And so it feels like that he's not a new person. He's a person, but he's not a new person when it comes to how he manages in life. And so I would work on not seeing him, but if you wanted to, he's pretty easily, you know, he's accessible. And I think that it feels very much like it's a chaotic environment that your dad is in. Yes. Okay, good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, I'm gonna get to the next person. And if you want to get a private reading with me, you go to travelingintuitive.com to book a session. I'd love to have a reading with you. Okay, let's see here. Oh, hello. 25 is Genie Savini. Hi, Genie Savini. Genie Savini says, please pull a card for me tonight. Okay, I will pull a card for you. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out. Please pull a card for me tonight. Okay, let's see. Okay. Here and now. So, Genie Savini. So, you know, with you, you have big decisions this year. We've got to decide on what we're doing when it comes to where we're living. We've got to decide what we're doing when it comes to how we're spending our money, what we're going to do next. I think that right now we feel kind of frozen. And I think the frozenness is because of a partner and something that's going on with them. And so it feels like that we have to kind of stay put and do the same thing right now. Because of that, I think that when we're moving into the second half of the year, you get to make some decisions on where your energy and your money goes. I think that where you live right now shows up as expired, and so you're going to make a decision to either stay in an expired situation, which feels like, you know, that's what we've been doing so far because it's been expired for a while, which you can certainly do, or we make a move, which shows up as making you happy. I think that our issue with making the move is that we don't know where we're going. And so it does feel like that after the scenarios for your significant other, shifts, it does feel very much like you have the freedom to be able to make a decision around that. And so, this year, be open to feeling surprised about making decisions that you didn't really know that you were going to make, or you weren't sure you were going to make in your life. And it feels like that if we can make a jump and we can make a shift in our life, we're the most financially secure, which has been harder, and the most personally secure, and we could find something that brings us a lot of joy. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for being here and asking your question. Okay, let me get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And thank you so much for being here. Happy Wednesday. Okay. Let's see. Okay. 25 is Christina Koalo. Hello, Christina Koalo. Christina Koalo says, is my soulmate in my life right now? Is my soulmate in my life right now? Okay, I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. Hit the heart button if you feel like you're with your soulmate right now, or your person. Yes. Good question, Christina. Is my soulmate in my life right now? Okay, your person. Okay. All that glitters. So, yes. And so the person that you show up as being the happiest with and spending the rest of your life with and feeling the most secure with long term and feeling like that they can really show up for you. They have some work to do, like all other humans. We're all messy, but this person has a desire to and a love for you, and they're very sure of it. I think the only reason why you doubt it is because it's, there's complications in the person's past, and you know the person really well, and so you have some feelings of unsureness about their character sometimes. But when I'm looking at the situation, this is a person for your life. You have the person that you spend the rest of your life with and that you feel in love with in your life now. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, I'm going to get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And thank you so much for being here. My little 2-year-old has a cold, and I feel like it's washing over me at this very moment. Like I can feel myself. She has all the boogers in the world, and as I'm sitting here doing readings with you, and I was fine, like fine. I was like, I'm really gonna get through this, and I'm not gonna get this thing that she has. This is awesome. And as I'm sitting here, I'm watching myself. You ever feel that way? Where like right when you know you're about to get it, when you're about to get sick, it just like kind of washes over your eyeballs, and that's what's happening at this very moment. You're watching it in real time. I feel it. It's like I can just feel my like boogers like filling up. So I thought I dodged it. But I didn't. I didn't. I feel it. I feel it falling over my head and face right this very second. Yes. Everything's in a little bit, a tiniest tad. How I know when I'm going to get a cold is everything goes just a little bit slower. Everything gets into a little slower of emotion. And it just happened over the next, like, last 6-7 minutes. I'm feeling it. I'm like, oh, damn. Okay, all right, let me get to the next person. Please feel free to ask any question you'd like, and thank you so much for being here. Okay. Okay, 25 is Norma Martinez. Hi, Norma Martinez. Norma Martinez says, Candice, is Rudy being faithful? Great question. Candice, is Rudy being faithful? All right, I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. Is Rudy being faithful? Okay. Okay, let's see. No place like home. You know, everybody has a different definition of what faithful is, right? Some people, they don't like their partner talking to somebody else, or sometimes people have like emotional affairs where they have like connection to somebody in an emotional way, and that's off limits to some people. Some people, they don't only equate being intimate or sexual with somebody as being unfaithful. With Rudy, Rudy likes attention. And so if somebody gives him attention, he shows up as, attention seeking, but he doesn't show up as cheating. Yeah, he doesn't show up as being intimate with anybody else or going past the, like enjoying somebody giving him attention. He does show up as attention seeking, which means that he's not searching for attention, but if it arrives, he's not going to be like, no, I can't, so he has a little bit of a flavor of wanting attention from other people. But when I'm looking at him, he doesn't show up as following through with it or doing anything that feels like it's inappropriate, physically with anybody. And so it just depends on what your definition, everybody's definition is different. What I would say is that he does show up as doing regular behavior often when it comes to somebody getting attention. But he doesn't show up as having anybody in his life that he's being, overtly unfaithful because of. Yes. Okay, good. Good. Some people, they're just like, you, like, I know some people who, like, they won't let their partner, like, follow certain people on Instagram. And if they do, that's cheating. Like, it's a, it's a real blurry line when it comes to what a person feels like is cheating. And so if we're just talking about physical interaction, no, he is faithful. Okay, good. Good. Thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. All right, let me get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And if you want to get a private reading with me, you'd go to travelingintuitive.com to book a session. My link to that is in the description of this live. I'd love to have a reading with you. Yes. Okay, let's see. Okay. Hello. Linda McCallie, yes, it does show up. It's not soon enough. It should have already happened, but it does show up as here in these next couple of weeks. It feels like the ball is rolling. Karen Betts, When it comes to, yes, one of them have a really hard time finding happiness and finding connection with their happiness, but in general, in the context of their own happiness, not what you want for them, but what they want for themselves, yes, they do. They find happiness. Yes. Okay. Ah. Okay. 25. 25 is Mary Markowinski. Hello, Mary Markowinski. Mary Markowinski says, should I let an old friend go? Have we grown in opposite directions? Hit the heart button if you have had a friend who you just like all of a sudden know. You're like, this isn't going well. This is not going well when it comes to our relationship with each other, our friendship with one another. But it's so hard to let them go, right? Because maybe they've been through a lot with you and it feels like they still need you. There's all sorts of reasons why we hold on. And so Mary's question is, should I let an old friend go? Have we grown in opposite directions? All right, let me pull a card for you. Thank you for asking your question. Okay. Okay. Flexible. You know, when it comes to the friend that you're talking about, should I let the old friend go? I think that it's already in the process of being let go. You're the letter goer, so you're the enemy, right? You're the bad guy in this situation. You are going in very different directions. It does feel like that the other person doesn't want to necessarily let it go, though. And so it does feel like that it's already becoming more complacent and more like acquaintances. And so I think that it's moving in that direction, already. And so I would, yeah, I would say that it does. It shows up as something that you let go of. And it takes, I think that this year we're going to be acquaintances, but into 2026, it feels like we've said goodbye to the scenario. And so I think we let it go really slowly. And it only feels slowly because the other person doesn't want it to come to an end. But it does feel like you already know that it is, and you've already done some measures of pulling back. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to 2 more people in the comments, and then I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And thank you so much for being here. Norma says, thank you. He does love attention, and that's okay. All right. Good. All right. Okay, let's see. Okay. 25. 25 is Renee Zollinger. Hi, Renee Zollinger. Renee Zollinger says, hi, Candice. My aunt was just diagnosed with a rare cancer. Will she be okay? Let's send lots of love to Renee's aunt. She says, my aunt was just diagnosed with a rare cancer. Will she be okay? Lots of hearts and lots of love for Renee's aunt. Okay, let's see here. Thank you for asking that question. Okay. Okay, so exchanging gifts. All right, and so this is a journey for sure. I think that for her, she does show up as she's on a journey, and that journey shows up as a lot of time figuring out health stuff, and it shows up as this year and for really the next 15 months. It's a lot of doctor stuff. she does go to all the right doctor stuff, and it does show up as the end result is she is okay, which is your question. But you know, it's still like it's an it's a battle the whole time, and it's, you know, very hard for her, and hard for her to manage emotionally. It's a difficult one, you know, journey for her, but it definitely feels like that, you know, these next 15 months she wins at the end of the journey, and so it does feel like that she'll be okay. But it's, you know, the journey is her having to show up to it all the time. And so I would just be loving on her and giving her all the things that she needs and all the tools that she needs. You're so um, empathetic, and you're so intuitive, Renee. And so I would just love on her and be there for her. But she does. She shows up as being okay, and she has the right people around her. Yes, I'm sending lots of love to her and to you. Yes, and your family. And thank you for everybody for sending her love. And anybody who's going through cancer, sending lots of love to you. Yes. Okay, all right. All right, I'm going to get to one more person in the comments. And then I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. And thank you again so much for being here. Yes. Thank you, Melanie. So are you. Okay. Of course, Mary. No problem. Twenty-five is Barbara LeBeau. Hi, Barbara LeBeau. How are you? Barbara LeBeau says, do you believe in reincarnation? Great question. Thank you, Nancy, for the gift. Barbara wants to know, do I believe in reincarnation? Hit the heart button if you believe in reincarnation. I think that, you know, I think that I can tell you from my understanding. And so my understanding from connecting to people who have passed away all day, and in connecting intuitively, human beings, people show up as coming back life after life. I think it's the idea of reincarnation, we kind of humanize it. We don't we humanize everything. And so we see it like levels, you know, like you're like you're working your way to the last the last level of the video game or something, when it comes to trying to be better and better and better. And so reincarnation, yes. And so that part of it, yes. And so how I understand it, or how it's explained to me, is that we come back and we try new things, oftentimes with the same loved ones that we have, trying things out over and over again in different ways, and just enjoying being a person. When you're, most of the time you're not a person. Most of the time you are unconditional love, and you don't have a body or brain, and you're spirit. And so you come back and try stuff over and over again because you want to have experiences. And so I think that yes, so I think that some people have tried out a handful of lives, and some people have been around the block quite a few times, and I think we're trying out all the things. And so do I think in that model that there is a level system that comes along with the idea of reincarnation, where like you're not good yet, and so that's why, or like anything where like your life is hard this time because of the karma of the last time, and none of that shows up as being real, or as far as it's explained to me. There's no punishment or karma or all the different things. We just are people, and we try something out, Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. We try it out for 100 years and then we stop being a person, and then we try out something new and we try out something different. And, you know, I think that it's more in that context of play, you know, and playing, and than it is like trying to like win the game, you know. But I'm open. I'm open to lots of people's understandings of things, and this is just how it's told to me when it comes to when it comes to my connection. But I'm open to all the stuff. Yeah. So that's my answer. Do I believe in reincarnation? Yes. Is it, you know, I also come from a Christian family, and, you know, I have lots of, connection to that as well. And that direction doesn't do the reincarnation thing. So there's all these sort of belief systems in life that you can, you know, build a right and wrong around things. I'm really fluid and open to, you know, what comes through for me intuitively. And what comes through for me intuitively is that, yes, that human beings are person, life after life after life. And I think that oftentimes we are, you know, we like, sometimes you feel like that you're super connected to somebody, but you can't figure out why you're so connected to them. And it's oftentimes because we keep doing this together over and over again, you and that person. And so sometimes we come into life and we have trauma that doesn't make any sense, or we have these thoughts and feelings or phobias or different things that don't make any sense to our life, you know, and it's because you have connection to that from being a person over and over and over again. And so I don't think that there's like a like levels like we like to think about it, but I think that we can bring along those experiences. And I think that sometimes we have aversions to things, and or we're drawn to things and we don't even know why. And I think a lot of that has to do with us being people over and over again and trying new stuff out, and we have certain connections to certain things. Yes. Good. Great question. Thank you for asking that question. Oh, well, good. And thank you, everybody, for asking your questions. And I'm here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time doing psychic readings and mediumship. And if you want to get a private reading with me, you'd go to travelingintuitive.com to book a session. I'd love to have a reading with you. And there's this button. I'm going to push it, okay? Just because I'm so curious. Okay, so and then what? And then so I can push this so it's green behind me now, right? So let me see. Hold on. Let me see if this. So then, oh, and then I can put some flowers behind me. Huh? Look at that. Look at that. That's interesting. It's a little fuzzy, but that's kind of interesting. That's a new little fun tool. Huh. What else can I put behind me? Let's see here. So you can find it. So just any picture I have, I can just put it behind me. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna do this one. Oh, there's me. It's big. It's a big picture of my silly head right there, right here. Stupid. It's stupid. It's not really that funny. Let's see. Let's try one more. Let's try one more. What else we got? Okay. Oh, let's see. It's cute. Oh, it's like, look at that. It's like, oh. Let me just get out of this. So anyway, or we could do none of that, which is much better. All right, let me pull a card for everybody here. Thank you again so much for being here. And happy Wednesday. Happy almost spring. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. And if you haven't subscribed already to my YouTube channel, please feel free. I love that. Yes. Okay. Okay, so. So breathe. That's helpful. So breathe. And so so this is a card of patience. Hit the heart button if you have a hard time with patience. A hard time being patient with people. And that there's certain people in our life that we have a really hard time being patient with. Sometimes it's our family, and sometimes it's our partner, and sometimes it's people at work. And I think that there's a different way of looking at it. Imagine that everybody in your life is there because you put them there. Just imagine for a second, even the sucky ones, even the ones that piss you off, even the ones that, let's say you're in a relationship and it's the same kind of shit over and over again. You feel like that you have to take control of everything because they're not trying hard enough, and you have to do all the stuff, and you have to, take care of everything, and they're not being enough. But you chose them. You picked them. And so, and if there is a succession of them, then that's what you're attracted to. Why? So you're taking kind of the power back in our impatience and saying, why is this in my life? Why am I attracted to this? Because oftentimes we feel like a victim of what we're not patient about. We feel like, damn it, like, why is that? That shouldn't be in my life. And, when we start to feel like a victim, and we can, there's some circumstances that makes sense around. But also, can we take a look and go, I have a boss who is such a piece of garbage and talks to me like I'm garbage. And then let's think about, okay, so if you have a boss that's talking to you like you're garbage, what makes him think and believe that he can? What is it about you? What is it about you that makes him believe that he can talk to you like that? Because he's not talking to everybody like that. And so why is he talking to you like that? And start to look in and look at the patterns of our life. If we really look at the patterns, if we look at the synchronicities in our relationships, what's the same problem? And the same thing with our work. What's the same issue? What makes you feel impatient around your job? And same thing with family. Like, what is the thing? Oftentimes we find that, one, we're not speaking up as a person. We feel like that we're codependent to the scenario. We feel like very much like I can't do anything about it. I'm trapped. I have nowhere to go when it comes to this. I have to, fall in line to this. Or if you're in a relationship where you feel like you're taking the whole load, would you even feel comfortable giving over control anyway? Do you have something where you feel like you need to be in control? And so it's paying attention to these patterns, because sometimes we could take the juice out of it. That's sort of like impatient, like, why is my life like this? By looking at it and seeing what's my participation? What's my participation? Because oftentimes, people are not nice to one another when they feel like they can do that. But if they feel like they can't, they're not, And oftentimes we have relationships that are difficult, and we tippy toe around things, and we just try not to make them mad, or try not to rock the boat, or try not to, and it ends up that we feel impatient. We feel like, come on, can you just be great for me? And really, the person's letting you know in every situation that they put you in that they don't want to be great for you, that they're being, they're being who they are, and they're allowed to be who they are, but you're not allowed to be who you are, and you start to get impatient. And so why is that even possible? Why is it even possible? Why, what about who you are makes it okay for you not to be authentically you? Why is that not the okay thing? And if you look around in your life and you see the people that you're impatient with, are they just being themselves all willy-nilly, all throwing themselves all over the place, all being all the stuff, and you can't do that, or you feel like you can't be you, or you feel like you can, or you feel like you have to take on the world, um, and they're just kind of like, bleh, or they're being mean, or they're being all these different things. And so pay attention to your play in it, because a lot of times that's the way to find freedom around it, because then we can look at ourselves and go, all right. And so if somebody's in my life and they're a jerk, I am immediately looking at myself. I'm not even looking at them. I'm not even, at first, I might say something. But if I, let's say I have a boss, and that boss is obviously sucking. And as a communicator, and putting a lot of work on my plate, and all the different things, and not thinking about me, I'm going to go and communicate that. And I'm going to just be like, well, what can please expound why this is the case, and try to have an honest communicative moment with that person. And when there's somebody who is being a jerk in my life, just in general, I'm just gonna tell them. I'm just gonna go, it seems like you're being a jerk, you know? But I'm also gonna look at myself, and I'm going to go, why do I have jerks in my life? What is it that I need to work on around, like, why is it allowed? Like, why is it even a thing? And so I think that if you can express yourself toward the issues that you're impatient around, and then also do some self-reflection around why you have that in your life at all, it helps you gain your power back in the situation, and it helps you be proactive instead of feeling frozen or resentful or stuck in something that you don't feel patient around. And then you can make small changes around it, or not, but at least you know all of the reasons why. And once you know all the reasons why in something, it's very hard not to make a shift and change. And so that's what I would be working on this week. That's what I would be doing. I'm trying to think of a moment more recently where somebody was a jerk. Mm, but I can't think of one. I'm searching. I mean, there's like soft jerkiness, which is, like people reaching out and being like, "You're going to HELL," or whatever. that I just thank them for their time and that they put into reaching out to me. I don't care about that. But when's the last time somebody was a jerk? Man. Or I was a jerk. When's the last time I was a jerk? That sucks. I guess it doesn't suck if I can't think of one. While I'm thinking of one, you guys think of your one too. So that we're all doing this together, and I'm just trying to think of something where somebody is a jerk to me. Yeah, I just can't think of one. Dang. But when it arrives, I'm ready. I'm ready with honesty, because I think that I just don't have any sort of I think it's really it's a lot of work to lie to somebody. For me, it's a lot of work to lie. And so I'm just like, if somebody's being a jerk, I'm just like, you're a jerk. You're being a jerk. Just facts. You're being a jerk. And then I look into myself and I go, why do I have a jerk in my life? What's that mean? And so that's the job this week is to work on that. And it's a good way of getting to know yourself, and a good way of taking your power back in hard situations. Yes. Good. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I'll be here next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, doing psychic readings and mediumship, and yes, and you're everything you are looking for. And I'll see you soon. Okay. All right. Bye.